Matthew Mercer and Critical Role have had a dramatic impact on the D&D community. I talked to him about this campaign, friendships, and what it feels like to say goodbye.
I feel very surreal, and it didn't really hit me until today. I've only been able to really complete one other campaign, and that was a 2-year Expedition to Ravenloft campaign. And even that, being able to finish the narrative is a wonderful and strangely sorrowful thing, because you know there is an end coming, but you're excited to be able to finish that story and send it off. This, pushing on 5 years with the same people, with the same characters, with this world that's become something so much larger than our home game. It's every emotion. I've sobbed multiple times today just looking at the community reactions online and how many people are excited for this beyond just us, and scared for us, scared for them at least. So it's been surreal. I'm excited. I'm scared. I'm overwhelmed. I'm looking forward to being able to send this story off in a way that's fitting and give the love to it that we have to this campaign, regardless of how it ends. And at the same time, I'm really excited to see what new adventures, what new stories, and new relationships we get to forge with the next campaign.
And do you know anything about the next campaign? Same universe, a new universe?
The next campaign is going to be same universe, probably a different place in the world. About a generation later. I've had people ask, exactly when is the next campaign? I'm like, I have some ideas, and they shift based on what I'm building, preparing. But it'll be about a generation later, and many of the decisions they've made, many of the things that they've done, will have some impact on how the world has progressed since then. So I hope to kind of weave those into the narrative in the future, and if they succeed or if they fail, those will definitely have impact on the next adventure they play, which is an exciting possibility too. So as a writer, it's a very surreal experience to be building a world and building a story that you have to wait to see how it plays out before you can continue the next major beat. It's fascinating.
Your relationships with these friends of yours has to have irrevocably changed because you see each other on a regular basis and you're creating the show for 4 years. I can only assume that makes people a lot closer.
Anybody who's played a role-playing game for an extended period of time can attest to the fact that you forge friendships and relationships at the table where you play these games stronger than most. I mean, most of my closest friends I've ever had are people that I gamed with. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the experience of playing a role-playing game is like the best team-building exercise. You're building relationships where you learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, both as people and as characters, and you know the insides and out of how they react to scenarios and how to prepare to best support each other. And at the end of any major story, you can't help but come out of there with the memory, the visceral memory of actually being immersed in the story, not you playing a game, not this character existed. You talk to your friends like, remember that time that we were trying to jump across that bridge and it was collapsing beneath us, but you pulled out the rope? It's always you and me. It's never when, this character or your cleric did that necessarily. When you've played enough to the point, it's like you were all there and you've been through this transformative journey together. And you can't help but have that impact your friendships. And when we started this game, I was loosely friends with most of the people involved and close friends with like a handful. Me and Talis had known each other for years, and me and Marisha began dating. Most everybody else was an acquaintance, a work friend who we were just started hanging out a little bit. And through this game, I've built some of the strongest friendships I'll have, hopefully, for the rest of my life. I have so much to thank for this game to bring these people into my life and, help forge these friendships. So, yeah, it's changed a lot. It's changed everything.
What do you want people to feel about, this entire campaign at the end of the day, when all is said and done?
I want people to understand that every heroic journey has sacrifices, that every person has moments in their life where they have to make tough decisions, and the people that can, in the face of great danger, of great sorrow, of great seemingly unbeatable odds, can continue to find that strength in themselves and the people they care about to still fight for what they think is important. I hope stories like this can resonate with people and inspire them to carry that energy into the real world, you know, and that's what I think storytelling as a medium is what it's best used for. I think it's so important and so powerful to use to inspire people to be better people. It's inspired me to be who I am today, and still aspire to be a better person because of the characters that I read about and played growing up. So with this tale, I hope Vox Machina's story has been able to show people that every hero is, in their own way, broken and fucked up. That you can still be a broken person and aspire to be better. You don't have to fix yourself, but you can still crystallize the idea of what's right and how you see the world could be, and then make action to change it and bring it closer to that ideal. And even if they fall tonight, the way the world has rallied behind them, the way that the people have come together through this narrative, will have an impact on the end. You know, I don't think loss in the face of this battle is going to be like a complete horrible TPK, world's over, death, ha ha ha, you lose. You know, it's not a game over screen. They've sparked something by their, journey, their sacrifices, those that remain, those who survive, those who escape. The next world, the next story will have that seed of hope of Vox Machina had left, that there is a chance, there are people still willing to make the sacrifice. And the next campaign maybe very much trying to, rebuild the world in that shadow and continue where they left off. As a dungeon master, you have to build challenges and build a story that has real stakes, that has the capability of loss and failure, because that's part of the learning experience of life too. And from failure, you can pick up and still aspire to succeed in other ways. Not everything can be a victory. And anyone who's lived in the real world for a period of time, that's a very necessary lesson to have. Something I think that a lot of modern media shies away from often, and it's frustrating in a lot of ways. But I'd like to see them succeed. I hope they do. They have the tools to do so. If the dice are with them, if they are clever, and their resolve is strong, I think they have a good chance of succeeding, which I think is really the drive of any good story. You want to give them a good chance of succeeding, but the opportunity to fail, and see where the story takes you from there.
How do you define success? Because when I was in college, we're in film school and we're in theater and we're prepping to be actors and directors and cinematographers and all this stuff. You have this unique thing that didn't exist at that time, where you're not beholden to it anyway. You created this universe. You and your friends created these characters. You've been creating this story and how you interact with each other. And that's it. Like, I can't imagine anyone interferes with that, right? No. Like, this is your baby. This is something that you've created and you've made, and now there's a book, and now there's a comic book. In terms of, like, pure, artistic aspirations, this is it for a lot of people. And maybe they wouldn't recognize that right away because it's role-playing and because it's a new thing, because it's on Twitch. But, like, this art form has to be completely different for you.
It's a very different art form, and there have been people that have tried to give suggestions or nudge how to elevate the media, and it's been very much no. That's not about this. We're not trying to build something. We're just trying to continue what we've been doing and invite other people to be part of that. I think when it comes down to it, for any game master, any dungeon master, you do it out of love. It's fun, it's a game, but it's a gift to your players. And as such, they gift it back to you. They take something that you've built, something you've made for them, and they bring it to life and change it and twist it and make it into something you didn't expect and hand it back to you and say, what's next? And it's that type of, that dynamic, that relationship, that perpetual gifting back and forth that makes such a magical experience at the table. So, I mean, calling it an art form is a strange thing because it's something that was so, personal and so misunderstood for so long as just a game in a basement, from a lot of people's standpoints. But it's an art form where you're creating art for your friends, and you hope they enjoy it. And every now and then you get a rough game, you get a rough table or a combination of players, and that just comes through communication in advance and making sure that you are all on the same page on what you want out of this experience. Not every game group's going to gel. Not every GM's going to be able to provide the experience you're looking for. But when you find those people, it's an entrancing, collaborative effort to create this space that doesn't exist anywhere else. And it's only for you. And it's wonderful. It's magical. It's inspiring. It's made me a better person. And by extension, this strange, almost 2.5, 3 years now we've been streaming this community that's rallied around it, who've gone off and created their own stories and their own adventures. And now some in a world that's spun from my brain unintentionally. It's a very surreal and very wonderful thing. And I just don't ever want it to change or get ruined. I'm very, very protective of it. And ending this campaign has been a very nerve-wracking experience, knowing how many people are invested in this beyond just our table, but at the same time, every story has to come to an end. But that end also leads to a new beginning.
But they're more invested in you guys and you and the story that you're telling.
I hope they are. Guess we'll find out if the next campaign, all of a sudden everyone's like, this is bullshit. I'm going to watch it. Hope it's not the case.
I totally do not like Talison's new character.
It's possible. But to be fair, sometimes you're introduced to a character and you don't like that character until a point in the narrative reveals an aspect of their personality that you can connect with. Or you misunderstood them at the beginning and now you're like, oh, I didn't like them because they're very much like me. I see that often in a lot of streamed games. A lot of people will dislike a character and then come around and they realize it was because it was a reflection of parts of themselves that they themselves weren't really a fan of. And once they realized that and the narrative journey became one that they kind of want to go on for themselves to better themselves, they become more invested. And that's been a really fascinating thing I wasn't expecting either. The whole sociology of investing in another person's role-playing experience and how that affects you as a viewer, let alone a gamer at the table, is just an emerging, interesting form of psychology, I guess, that I'm now peering into.
There's got to be a moment when you're at the table and you're going to say goodbye to the camera, and that's going to be it. How does that make you feel?
I don't know. Goodbyes are always hard. Even just ending the stories, really emotional thing. Today's just been tears driving multiple times, seeing the messages and the tweets and the art and how many people are with us on this journey. And I hope the day where I get to have to say goodbye for the last time is a ways off. And on my own terms, and after telling some good stories.
But tonight's going to be great.
Tonight will be great one way or another. It's going to be fun. A lot of surprises, a lot of twists and turns, a lot of cool things to emerge. So I hope people enjoy it. I hope the players enjoy it. For as stressed out as they are about this and glaring at me with the fear of what have you planned. So I'm excited. I'm scared. I'm overwhelmed.
What effect do these fans have on you?
Oh.
Because you don't have a standoff relationship with them like I've known many people do sometimes, but you directly connect with fans.
I try to, and it gets difficult on a certain scale. I never expected this scale of a community to really give a shit who I am years ago, and so I can't connect with everybody. But I was and am a fan. I'm going to conventions, going to panels about cartoons and video games since I was in high school. I am the community as well. I don't see a separation. And there are people that inspired me when I was younger and people that I aspired to be like or asked to guide me in certain points where I needed some guidance, and if I can be that to even a few people,
But now you are that person.
I guess. And it's intimidating at times, but it's also it's really nice. It's really beautiful, and I hope to live up to that and do good. And really, when it comes down to it, I just want to make the world a better place.
You're doing that.
So emotional today. Shit.
It is. To be fair, it is the end of a 4-year campaign.
Yeah.
So I think being emotional about it is the right response.
I hope so. I think at this point the internet's used to seeing me cry on camera enough to where it's not a big deal anymore. That's my hope.
You're gonna have a great show tonight. All right.
So. Thank you, buddy.
I think I'll leave you on that one. A huge thank you to Matthew Mercer and the rest of the Critical Role cast and the community as well for bringing us this amazing show. We're looking forward to the next campaign.